The importance of rest.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I think it means differently for different people, but as business owners, it's important to rest for, your mental state and physical, I mean, I just think it's important to take time, and you have to be intentional with it, just like dating each other. You have to be intentional with it, or you're just going to be sucked into the busyness of life.
Growing up and being a person that's a high achiever, that's always after goals and what's the next thing, really rest never was a part of it just never was a part of what I ever thought about. And I think when you're younger, you don't think about rest.
No.
But at the same time, even this past vacation was the first time that we didn't talk about business.
Woo.
That we didn't, at least I didn't, get on the phone, anything business related.
Oops, for me. But I didn't discuss it. I just looked.
Right. So, because I look back at myself, and a problem I always had was I would go on vacation, I could never relax.
Yep, you couldn't disconnect.
No, I couldn't disconnect.
And honestly, that's why we have always loved cruises, is because you was forced to disconnect. It's kind of changed nowadays with technology, but back then when we first started cruising, it was hilarious because especially when we go out of Port Canaveral, you would know that exact spot where you had to flip the switch and turn it off. You're like, and then you'd have to turn it off, and then I wouldn't see your phone the rest of vacation. So that's what's cool. You could automatically relax. But if we was in, somewhere in the U.S. or whatever, vacationing, it's so easy to pull that phone out and make sure everything's going okay when we're out of town. So that, to me, is a mental disconnect from the busyness of life, and I think it's so important. Even as parents, we need that time to rest. Even if it's as simple as taking a nap on Sundays after church, you need that rest.
Yeah, and like I say, going back to what we just said, I'm horrible at resting. The older I've gotten, the better I've gotten at it.
And I think you yearn for it too.
Now, yes, I feel like I do, because there are certain seasons of the year, and not the 4 seasons, but there's certain busy seasons of our life throughout the year. I get to the point where I feel trapped, where I feel like, it's like the weight of everything I'm carrying. But yet I'm still have not become good at saying I need to disconnect for a day and go to the mountains and go fishing or go hiking or just get away, because I feel like if I leave, I put burden on other people, or if I leave, this won't be able to get done. And I think that's just the total opposite.
Well, and I think, as we grow older, we become a little wiser, and we discover that everything's not going to fall apart on us, right? If we go off for a little bit. Especially here in this business, we've created a team that we can rely on, that we know it's not going to fall apart when we leave the building, even if it's for an extended amount of time. I think it makes us better people, makes us better leaders, makes us better parents when we can disconnect and have that time of rest and fun and not worry about what's happening at home. It's important. That's why that's my love language. I love to plan, and I love to go on vacations and see all of that come to fruition, so to say, and see how fun everybody's having. That brings joy into my life, and it helps me not worry about the struggles of life just for a moment.
Yes. So basically what she just said, if you want to see joy in my wife's life, contact her for vacation planning or helping you plan a trip.
I love it.
She will bring joy. It brings joy to her life. So do that.
Oh, Lord. Advertising, right?
No, not really. But no, seriously. I mean, because that does bring you joy. I think it's the anticipation of rest. Whereas for me, it's the anticipation of adventure.
Yeah.
I like adventure. I enjoy getting out and going hiking and doing. The older I've gotten, I've kind of backed off, but I like to do some things that you may possibly die while doing them. That brings me joy. It's weird. I'm not an adventurous or a daredevil or nothing like that, but
it's the thought of it.
It's the thought of doing something that I have a 20 to 30% chance of I may not be able to hit that goal, or I may not be able to finish, or
it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely, I like challenges. I like being challenged, and that's a lot of times that's relaxation for me, but at the same time lines become blurred sometimes with business and relaxation and challenge.
But I think rest is different for everybody. The example of it brings joy to our lives and helps us rest and helps us get away and disconnect. It's very similar to somebody that loves to read a book that is fiction. It kind of pulls them out of reality and sets them into that story. That's what our, point of view on relaxing is. It pulls us out of reality and puts us into a place that completely disconnects us from reality, and I think that's what relaxes us, so that we can come back to working hard in our business and be better people. Because if you're just struggling the whole time and you never have that time to relax, even if it's at home taking a nap, to me, you're not going to be a better person. You're going to be a stressed out, high anxiety, fast-paced person, not listening to, your family's wants and needs. I think we need that time as human beings to sit back and just enjoy life. Why do you work so hard if you can't enjoy life, So That's my point of view on relaxing and going on vacations. That's why it's so important to me.
And so just in this time of us having this conversation, this is my opinion, and it could possibly be a controversial opinion, but I think if married couples look at this for what it is and really look at it, it's not controversial. But my way of relaxation is not your way of relaxation, and I should never force or expect you to want to relax the way I relax, and vice versa.
True.
And which you enjoy going on vacation, I enjoy going on vacation, but there are certain things that, for example, we just come back from vacation. I wanted to go hiking that day. It was windy. It was cold. Yes, it was in June, and it was cold. It was probably in the 40s. We were in Wyoming in Yellowstone National Park. I was hiking up to Mount Washburn, which is 10,000 foot elevation. And, we were a half mile into it. My son, my stomach hurts. And nobody was having fun but me. And
I was having fun.
Well,
up until that point.
Yeah, but the thing is, I realized then, wait a minute, just because this is fun and relaxing for me, it's not fun and relaxing for everyone else. Let's compromise.
Yeah.
And when I say let's compromise, I decided right then, I'm going to come back to Yellowstone Grand Tetons by myself.
And do your adventure hiking.
And do my adventure hiking or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and, I mean, even though it annoyed you and we turned around and went back, we still, as a family, went on a small hike. Yeah. And then we realized, hey, our kids, Philip, doesn't really enjoy it. And so, there again, it's a matter of compromising and making sure that, everybody's relaxing time is done during vacation. I think that's important too. If we're going to go off as a family and one's relaxing a certain way and the other, as a family, we need to jointly kind of, if we feel like we need to do it together, we need to kind of figure out a game plan on what's going to make everybody happy so that somebody's not not enjoying themselves on vacation. Totally I think it's one of those things that we need to be aware of when we go jointly as a family. So. Yeah,
and the thing is, we all came back and that was a great trip. We loved it. It was awesome. And you and I, we came back into the business here.
Yep.
And we had a fresh perspective.
Yes. And that's what's important, so that we could have a great attitude about coming back into work. It wasn't dreadful, and we came back to, it didn't fall apart,
Right.
I mean, and there was no drama or anything like that, which was amazing, which helped us come back into work.
And a lot of that is because we have an absolute rock star team.
We do.
And they have made a difference in our business. Not only our business, but they've made a difference in us.
Well, even talking about our team, we encourage that, rest time for them, because it goes back to the same point of view with us as leaders. We want our team to go and relax too. That's why when it comes to those you can't cross the line when it comes to this kind of stuff, we want them spending time with their families on weekends. That's why we don't book sessions every weekend. I mean, it's one of those other things about Sundays. We absolutely, that is their family time. If we're working on a Saturday, we want them to have a Sunday off. These are the things, and we want them to go on vacation. So there are 2 weeks in the year where it's you have to take a week off here.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want to on that week, but we want you to rest away from the business, so
Yeah, and
and they appreciate it.
Yes, they do. The thing is, we could go on and on talking about rest, because rest is something we all need. But it sounds like, it's our opinion that we rest differently.
Yep.
Everyone rests differently. 2, we all need rest.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, rest does not happen if you don't disconnect.
Yep.
When I say disconnect, I'm speaking of disconnecting from social media, from your phone, that type of connection. Because if you're connected to that, you can't connect to your family.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. It's not the people on your phone. It's the people that's in front of you.
Yep.
And you have to, that's relaxation, and your phone is not relaxation.
Yep. I agree.
So, cool.
Cool. Great conversation.